Good evening, everybody. I can't be responsible for what Rabbi Samuel said about me, but people said worse already. There's a little out of my comfort zone, so just have to bear with me a little bit. I was asked to speak about the Rebbetzin, and I'm not one to be able to really do it. But we'd like to give a shvach v'odeh LaKadosh Baruch Hu for all the schusim and all the hakaras hatayv and all the kiruvim that myself and my family had in the relationship with the Rebbetzin. We started visiting in Tavshin Lamed Aleph and until Memches. It started because when we first got married in Tavshin Lamed, I decided when it'll come Chanukah time, I would like to make Chanukah lichter shamotzim from Shaiva to make sure that they're pure wax and not mixed in like I thought some of the ones that was happening to the ones that were available in the stores. At any rate, I bought a mold kit and wax and I made the candles. When I made the set for myself, I said, they look pretty good. Let me make a set for the Rebbe too. So I made another 8 and I packed them up. And I went to President Street and I knocked on the back door. And a sweet voice asked me, where is do? Who's there? So I answered, I knew it was the Rebbetzin asking. So I said, Rebbetzin Clapman, somebody Clapman. I didn't know a person. I said, somebody Clapman. She opened the door and we spoke for a few minutes. I explained to her what I have. And she asked me, she wanted me to repeat my name. But instead of saying, who are you, or what's your name, she put it so beautifully, she said, in whose house do you make such beautiful licht? So that was the way she got me to repeat my name without pointing a finger, who are you? And then that started, every year we started going. And one year I asked if it's okay when I come if I bring the children. So she told me it's okay, I could bring the children. And on the way there, I told the children that if she'll pass a bowl of candy around, which I figured she might do, you can only take one candy. And if she'll pass the bowl around the second time again, one candy, not more. Anyway, Rebbetzin pulled out a bowl of candy, and she told it to my oldest daughter. She took one, the next one, the next one. And then she started going around the second time. And one of my daughters, she figured this can go on all night just playing with the candy. She said, the Rebbe wants to have candy, not one little piece of sucking candy. So she stuck a lap in and she took candy already as they could buy. After she took it, she's holding this big handful of candy. She realized that she shouldn't have done it. So she gave back to the Rebbetzin. So she gave back to the Rebbetzin, and the Rebbetzin putting it in my older daughter's pocket. So this one is taking and giving and passing, and the Rebbetzin putting everything in one person's pocket. So she wanted to make sure that at the end of the night, before they went home, everybody had a lot of candy. So they were playing like round robin with the candy. And by the way, if anybody feels we can hear all about the Yehudim and everything, all of the stories we had with the Rebbetzin for the most part are just plain simple stories that have to do with little children. At any rate, the next time I called up, so the Rebbetzin said, you can come anytime you want, but I have to go shopping first. So I asked her, what do you have to go shopping for? So she told me to make a party. I said, why do you have to make a party? I said, the visit alone is enough. Just coming to the house, that's enough. You don't have to make a party. So she told me no. She said, every time you have children over, you have to make a party. And that's the most asked for parents and for Malamdim. You have to make a kid should be happy. And she knows kids like candy and they like a party. Make a party, that's why she has to go shopping. So she went shopping and we came here. Another time she told us that Seder in life is very important. So when you want to come to visit, this is the window. You have to make it when the child who comes home from yeshiva, the latest, and the one who goes to sleep the earliest, in that window of time you should come. So nobody had to leave school early and nobody had to go to sleep later. Everybody would be able to keep their Seder. So she was very particular that life has to go on with the normal routine and not keep breaking the Seder. One time we went, and in the house closer to New York Avenue, they put a dog for security. That his dog was only a dog by birth, but everything else about him was like a bear. He put up a paw on the fence. You thought, mamish, it was really kid the boiler meved. And also a big head. and the kids were screaming, and his dog is barking away. The kids are screaming. The Rebbe opened the door. As soon as she opened the door, the kids right away ran right in. When they came into the house, Rebbetzin calmed each child down, and afterwards she said, I don't like the dog either. She said, they told me I need it because of security, but I myself, I don't like it. And then she explained what she doesn't like. What she doesn't like is, it makes the people who come to visit me, makes them scared. So in other words, her own pain wasn't what counted. The only thing that counted was the people who come to visit me, they're disturbed. That's the part that bothers me. So we have to feel for the other person, not just that it'll be okay, the kid will get over it. Somebody's troubled and bothered by something, you have to make sure that you participate and you feel their pain and you make that into your own. I don't feel comfortable with the Rebbe should speak for me. One year, my daughter asked the Rebbetzin, if it's okay if I make Shabbos licht for you. Until now, we made Chanukah candles, the Shamosim. Now my daughter stepped into a new role. She asked the Rebbetzin, is it okay if I make Shabbos licht for you? So the Rebbetzin asked her, will you be able to make licht for me and still do all the jobs you have to do for Shabbos? So my daughter said yes, but the Rebbetzin didn't stop at that. She asked my wife, what do you say about it? So my wife told the Rebbetzin, if my daughter says she could manage both, to make the candles and also do for Shabbos, she could do it. So the Rebbetzin said, okay, from that time on, my daughter started making Shabbos licht. But I would like to analyze a minute to having the jobs. In a Yiddish shtup, in a house that looks like a Jewish house, there's going to come a time Friday night, there's going to be chal on the table, and kiddush on the table, and plates, and silver, and glass, everything. But how did it all happen? You go into some houses, Nebuch, when the husband comes home from shul, they're still setting the table. In other places, when the husband leaves to shul, they're setting the table. But it's very chaotic. When everybody has a job, then you can start early when everyone has their individual item to do, whether it's washing the floors or the silverware polishing, whatever it might be. So besides helping Shabbos to come in very tranquilly, it also helps that every person can feel, I contributed to make this whole thing happen. I know, because we set the table Thursday nights like this, by Friday morning the house looks Shabbos-stick already. But even if you do it later, it should be with a Seder, not just a big chaotic event that happens when it's time to bench lift. Once it happened that I brought home a dreidel. Somebody made a heavy block wooden dreidel with beautiful painted letters on it. And my son saw that dreidel, he grabbed it and he said, when we go to the Rebbetzin, this is for her. So they wrapped it up and they polished it and they put it in wrapping paper with bows on it and they bring it to the Rebbetzin for a gift. When they came and they gave it to her, she took it and she asked, should I open it now? And the kids all jumped, yes! They wanted to open it. She opened up, she saw it's a dreidel, and they started having a dreidel game. Now you could try to imagine the unbelievable scene. Here's a lady sitting by a table by herself, and all around her are children that are laying, they're little kids, they're laying over the table. The tzir was mamish like a bubba or an elder bubba playing with her einetlich dreidel. She spun, it went all around. And every time the Rebbetzin spun the dreidel, she got a gimel. So after a few times around, she looks up smiling to the kid and said, I'm good at this. So you know if you're ever playing dreidel with pairs, you want her to be on your team. I'm good at this. One time, when I was there just with my daughter, not the whole family, the Rebbetzin gave my daughter candy, and she said, Miriam, do you like the candy I gave you? And my daughter said, it's okay, you know. So the Rebbetzin told her, I was very embarrassed. The Rebbetzin told her this, Miriam, next time you come, call me first, and you'll tell me what kind of candy you like, and I'll try to get that candy. So it's not enough to give kids candy, you have to make sure that's the candy they want. So she said, call me in advance, I'll try to get whatever you like. Then somewhere in the MEMS, that means in the 1980s, they wanted to publish a book about how we make a Sefer Torah, about the cloth and the ink and the feathers, all those kind of good things. So our family was the focus of the book. When it was finished, I sent one into the Rebbe, and my daughter brought one to the Rebbetzin house. The next day, the Rebbetzin called up and I answered, and she wanted to know, why did my daughter just leave it by the door? Why didn't she come in? I couldn't answer, I didn't know. Anyway, she told me that she went through the book, And it brought back very fond memories when I was a little girl in Lubavitch. Listened to his talking show when I was a little girl. She is Lubavitch. And she said when I was in Lubavitch, I used to play with a girl. Her father was Moshe the Seifert. I tried to find out from Rabbi Levin from Deborah's library if that was the Maitik that we have my mother in that Ksav Yad, whatever. He didn't answer me. But nonetheless, his name was Moshe Seifert. And he used to do all these things. He used to make the ink and the cloth and the writing. And she said when she went through the book, it brought back such fond memories of her watching it when she was younger. And she's glad to see that it's still being done here in America. Then she goes to speak to my daughter. Hello, my daughter picked up, hello, Miriam, this is Mr. Schneerson. And literally like somebody flipped the switch from 1 second to the other. She's talking to my daughter who was, I don't know, then maybe 8 years old, 9 years old. Was it hard to pose for so many pictures and all the interviews and making your hair and getting ready? And I know a book like this takes a long time, so they came back many, many times. How did you do it? And they were discussing a book. So in 1 minute, she was able to speak to an adult on his level, and to a little kid, she was able to speak on their level. That's how we're supposed to do. Don't say it's below my dignity to deal with this one. Today's for Kabbalah Schar, each one will do it the way they want to say it. So keep going. One year, Rabbi Groner came over to me, and he asked me to make the candles, the Hanukkah candles. He asked me to make them shorter. I made them shorter, and I showed him the new one, and he said, no, make them shorter. It came from beautiful tapered candles down to like a half a piece of pencil. I was almost embarrassed to bring them. That year when I went to the Rebbetzin, I gave her 8 candles in a package, and I took a 9th one to show her separately what the candles look like. She was so happy, a big smile. That's very good. After Hanukkah, I went to Rabbi Groner. This is a lesson for all the husbands here. After Hanukkah, I went to Rabbi Groner and asked him, how did you know? This whole Hanukkah candle business was always President Street business. I didn't know where it came into 770. So Rabbi Groner told me, the Rebbe told me like this. Tell Clapman that since he makes the licht, he should make him usable. Like this, the Rebbetzin has to cut them down. Why should she do all the work? He's making the licht. Let him give something that you're able to use when he give him. So see from there that a good husband always tries to find a way to make work in life, to make work easier for his wife. And that's what the Rebbe did. Let him do it. One year, when we came, the Rebbetzin asked me if I can make a certain licht. It's a very, very long licht, not from beeswax, it was from paraffin. And she wanted to know, she had a place where she got them, and they weren't making them anymore, and she needed them. She wanted to know if I could make it. So she asked me to make that candle. She gave me a sample, and I'll see what I could do. And she told me that when I give him the candles, it has to have with a bill. The next day, I got a call, and it was from the Rebbetzin. And she called to tell me, yesterday when I told you it has to have a bill, the candles, when you make it, has to have a bill, I mean to say a business bill. So now I'm wondering, what's the difference between a bill and a business bill? So I figured a bill, I charge $1, that's a bill. But you can't get a big candle like that and say $1, it's a business bill. So I prayed to the Eibishter for forgiving me for ripping off Beis Harav, and I charged $350. I figured a nice big candle like that, $350 sounds like, I didn't want to lose the schus to make them, so I had to charge something. Then meanwhile, she took them. The first time she used one, she called up to compliment me how beautifully it burned. All the way to the bottom, no spritzing, no drippings, it burned beautifully. The next time, that must have been beginner's luck, because the next time, she called up to tell me that it was spitting the wax, and she said maybe water got into the wax, and that's going to cause that to happen. She had to make candles because of a different conversation. So she was telling me maybe water got in the wax, and that's going to cause it to spritz. So I made a recall. I went and I picked up from that batch I took all of them, and then I slowly started to make new ones to replace the ones that I took. It started getting complicated with the money. She paid, I paid, over this, over that, and back and forth. So she started to pay more money. And I asked her, what's that? And most of the time she spoke to me in Yiddish, and she said, Mitzot leit unsere Verstand. We pay according to our understanding. In other words, the bill is only suggested retail value, but when it comes to paying, we pay the way we understand. And she started giving a lot more money. during this event with all these candles exchanging back and forth, came Hanukkah. So he came in Hanukkah, and the Rebbetzin had an envelope, and she hands it to me. She goes to hands it to me. I wouldn't take it. I told Rebbetzin, I can't take it because you have credit. So she takes her hand and she moves over to where my wife was standing. She wants to give it to my wife. So my wife tells the Rebbetzin, I have nothing to do with candles. I don't know anything about this. The old Rebbetzin holding it. This one's not taken because he got credit. This one's not taken because nothing to do with it. And the Rebbetzin sitting there like this. So my wife asked the Rebbetzin, tell me, is this Chanukah? Who said it was paying glicht? She asked the Rebbetzin, maybe is this Chanukah geld? So the Rebbetzin, yeah, it's Chanukah geld. We came home, and lo and behold, there was a $5 bill for each child that we had. So you see, it was Chanukah geld, not paying for lift. I saw a sikha from the Frierdiker Rebbe about the time of the Tzemach Tzedek. They used to make a licht. I'm not sure if it was for Shabbos Shuvah or if it was for Yom HaKodesh, but either way, there was a certain licht. And it was a big kibbutz, a big schus to have anything to do with that candle. Whether it was pouring the wax or getting the wick set, whatever it was, to have anything to do with that candle was a big schus. So I mentioned this to the Rebbetzin, and I sort of hinted if she wants to do it, we could arrange it. So again, she started to reminisce how it was when she was a little girl in Lubavitch. I don't remember, she said she saw them do it or she heard about them talking how it was done before. And then she just said, but we don't do it anymore. But anyway, that was the one sikha that came to discussing it. As a big battler that I am, there was a medical situation once in our family. And it was on Yud Beis Tammuz. I went to the oil early in the morning, Yud Beis Tammuz. And when I came back to Crown Heights, I still felt very uncomfortable that for some reason, however it happened, I didn't write into the Rebbe for bracha before. And I really felt very bad about it. And I wrote it zettel, and I brought it to the Rebbe's house. The Rebbetzin came, it was a few minutes before 10. And the Rebbetzin opened the door. I told her what it is. The Rebbetzin said, you want an answer right now? The Rebbetzin was right there. You want an answer right now? I don't know what anybody else would have answered, but I told the Rebbetzin, when I give it to you, it's all taken care of. So I don't know if she gave it to them, whatever it was, but Baruch Hashem, everything turned out to be fine. One year I called up and I said it's Simei Tshuva to get a bracha for the family. And after the Rebbetzin benched each of the children and my wife and I, so that was the only time I ever used the word Rebbe when I was speaking to her. I said, the Rebbe is the Rebbetzin to get bracha sent him. And the Rebbetzin called me up and said, Jetzt ist a Zeit, was mir et bechlolus nicht beprates. Now when I said this, we speak in general, everybody should be gesund, everybody should have everything. You don't say this one and this one and this one, you speak bechlolus. If you take a look in the Siddur, the Machzor, by the tefillah we say when we take out the Sefer Torah, on Yom Neirom and on Shalosh Regalim, we mention our name. On Rosh Yom Kippur we don't. Maybe that was alluded to. It said that Yetz Meret Bechlolus Nish Bepratis, and Rosh Yom Kippur you don't mention individual names. Just hear myself talk for another minute. Keep going. Keep going. There was a time in yesteryear where a Shabbos of Farbrengen, so they used to make Sheva brachas. The Shabbos of our Sheva brachas, there was a Farbrengen, but like a battler, I forgot to bring challah or matzah, but I didn't want to miss out on the Sheva brachas. So I went upstairs to the Rashag and I knocked on the door. Nobody answered. I was really desperate, so I went upstairs to the Alter Rebbetzin. And I said what the story was. It's our chosin and the Farbrengen. I want Sheva, but we have no challah. So she gave us a challah. We broke it up into pieces. Everybody washed, and that was the suda from the Sheva brachas. Sometime later, I wanted to express my thanks to for the Sheva brachas that the Alter Rebbetzin made. I wanted to inform the Rebbetzin of it. So I told the Rebbetzin, I didn't know how to put it exactly. I didn't say your mother, your father. I didn't know how to address it. So I said, bei uns in Stub rechen wir, als von euch bin, hat man gemacht Sheva brachas. It makes no sense, but it comes out of this. By us, we attribute that from upstairs they made Sheva brachas. Sounds like a big riddle. So the Rebbetzin said to me, the Schwester? She caught on what I was talking about, but she wants to know, the Schwester? I said, no. And with that sitter, she said, oi, the Mamun Salon Garden, my mother made it? I said, yeah. Anyway, I think for my own personal life, we should be worthy for the Kiruvim and everything we got from the Rebbetzin, and surely matched by the Rebbe, but that's not the subject for tonight. And just want to mention one more thing, that on Beis Kislev, Heytavis was Heytavis, but the actual Sfarim themselves didn't come back till Beis Kislev. And that was the moment that we were waiting for such a long time, with so much tears and hardship and everything. We got a call in the morning from Beis Rivka. The chain call was, school here for day. Beis Kislev, my daughter had an official appointment to go to the Rebbetzin. Here we get a chain call in the morning, school all day, school here for day. So I called the Rebbetzin and I said that if it's more convenient for her to come at a different time, she has school only here for day. And very sternly the Rebbetzin said to me, favos not a halbe tog. Why only here for day? And there were other conversations I had about the Svarim case, and I surely wasn't going to get into the details at that time. So I just said, that was the chain call, school not a halbetog. Anyway, I don't know what happened after we hung up, but I just want to say that about 45 minutes later, we got another chain call, school all day. So anyway, if anybody has a Horus or Biyudim, what happened in that 45 minutes from school half a day to school all day? Anyway, we should have already the time that we read in last week's parsha that Moshe and Miriam took the Yidden out of the Golus towards the Gula, and the Rebbe and Rebbetzin should take us out because of Mamash now, Gesundheit, Freilichkeit, and okay, that's it, folks.